I
technically,
what?
I can say that I've had no problems.
Well, true, very true. Man, I'm excited though for this episode, mainly because I actually got some sleep last night.
Nah,
Nah.
I don't believe you.
What? Right
You
after
never sleep.
right after I jumped off of the call, which I don't know how long that went for you guys afterwards, but I fell asleep very quickly after.
You don't sleep. You just pass out in the middle of doing things.
I That's usually how it is, but this time I had time to get to my bed. Like, I don't know. Hey, look, I'm sorry. I'm trying to have healthy habits.
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare I? Like, absolutely horrible.
Uh huh. How
Also,
dare you do the things I've been promoting you to do for years?
also, oh, okay. Ooh, podcast. Are you,
Podcast.
are you good? Okay. On Twitch it said for a second that we weren't live. Which,
We're live.
oh yeah. Okay. Good. Awesome.
You dungus.
I'm not Dungus, Jake. So, there's a couple of things I do want to talk about this week. I mean, one of them is, well, I know what I want to title this episode already.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be a sweet callback to the final episode of the Spotify branch of our stream, or not like stream, the podcast. But
You know what's great about you, Corey?
what?
Your way to talk about things without saying what it actually is you're talking about.
It's awful, I know.
It's great.
Why?
The not know.
Well, I mean, if I say it now, what?
I neither know what you want to talk about or what we're calling the podcast, which
That's-
you apparently have planned out already.
I go in with my own plans, and you must adapt.
Hey, you want to know the thing you don't know? Yeah, here's this other thing you don't know.
Wait. Okay. Well, I guess also, when it came to like the titles and everything, they were very spur of the moment. So I'm not surprised that you would forget it.
Except
But,
for this one, you apparently know and you're just not going to tell me.
Well, I was just going to call this episode Steam Summer Sale Summaries Part 2.
Okay.
Or it was just Summer Sale Summaries or whatever. I don't know. Dude, I'm trying. I'm trying to be clever, and it's hard for me to be a clever boy. But,
It's usually my role.
your official role of the podcast is clever boy.
Uh-huh.
What am I? What's my rank?
Spaghetti wand.
That's not a rank. That is a nickname. Completely different.
No, it's the same.
How is that the same?
It's a nickname with a purpose.
What? I feel like most nicknames have purposes, though, right?
No.
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 Really?
Why would they have a purpose?
Because it's a purpose of like putting the label on the person. Because if you have a friend, you're like, yo, string cheese. There's like a reason for that.
Well, then what's the purpose of someone whose nickname is just their middle name?
Well, would that be different, right? Because it's a middle name?
It's the nickname that you're calling the person. Instead of their proper name.
Oh, so like a Rocco situation. Except that's last name.
Yeah.
But like the same
Or
thing.
that too. It's the exact same thing. It doesn't really serve a purpose.
Jake, my brain hurts.
Good.
Good.
So you know you're talking to the real me.
Well, okay. Are you ready to get going?
Oh, baby.
We're gonna do a sweet fade out.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Ooh, that's professional, right?
Yeah.
Right? That was. Oh my goodness, we're amazing. We're so good. We're gonna close all that.
Uh-huh.
Now we're cueing the music. Three, two, one. What was that? Did you just like punch your desk?
No.
What was, it was like 3, 2, 1.
Let me try that again.
Alright. Nice. Welcome to the Pixel Venture Podcast. I'm Corey.
And I'm here.
And why am I having such a hard time following that up? You just go, I'm here. It's like my brain just went.
Are we though?
I don't want to get existential. The first topic of the episode. But hi everybody. It's been a week, so you're getting another episode. That's how it works.
Uh-huh.
Jake, what do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about the Steam Summer Sale.
Yep. So that is something that is happening right now, and it's probably going to be happening for how long does it usually go? Like a month, right?
You know, it says on Steam how long it's gonna go, right?
Well, I don't have Steam open.
July 9th at 10 a.m. Pacific.
Okay, well then, cool. There's going to be it's a huge thing for anybody who doesn't know. You know, if you're not a true gamer, it's a huge sale that spans over a pretty lengthy period of time, where a lot of titles go for under like $10 or heck even under $5. And there's usually some pretty good stuff. We were looking at it last night, and I have to kind of restrict myself of what I can get and what I won't. Like, I'm gonna share the internet screen. So this is like the main page. You can see like you got like Fallout 76 for $20, which is still too much for that game. $10 for Ark. Lot of good titles. Just like they're just now way more accessible. So yeah, no, it's definitely a good place. Like for the question that we had last episode about like how do I get into video games or whatever, like this is probably the easiest way to get into like a bunch of different PC games, because of just like, you know, low costs, etc. Like, I mean, heck, Doom Eternal's $30. That game's very recent. Pretty dang good. Have you picked up any games yet?
No.
Is there any specific ones that you're looking for, like hoping to see go down more?
No.
Really?
Dude, I think you underestimate my backlog of games.
Oh, I know both you and I have like a pretty big backlog when it comes to stuff. Mine is mainly just a backlog full of RPGs, which I know that I will never have the time for.
So you buy other games that you do have the time for.
Well, a lot of the other games I get like are pretty short and like sweet, and like I can do those very very quickly. And then I'm also looking at like, because I will say, having access to free games almost every week through Epic and Twitch each month only makes my backlog grow, because a lot of those games I just cannot run on my computer. So like I'm trying to find games that I can play actively on my computer or my Switch.
The Witcher.
I've been playing The Witcher. I'm having a good time. I'm at this point where I'm like doing stuff for these guys at a bathhouse, and
Oh yeah.
and
Oh, you got the second tub time scene.
yes, I did.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I love how that. I like to imagine that's how you remember the game, whether or not you've reached this tub time scene.
Dude, I remember that because I have a picture I want to show you that you may be able to put up on the stream if you want, if I can find it.
Yeah,
I have way too many pictures from The Witcher 3.
Yeah, you've sent me like a huge backlog of them. Yeah, a backlog of images for me to get through.
Yeah. There's Witcher. It's a good game. Good game.
We've talked about it so much that I'm pretty sure people understand.
Let's see. I think they're here. I'm looking for my screenshots. There's a lot of them.
All right. Well, while you're looking at that, a couple of games that I've actually picked up through the sale currently is, well, one, Sonic Generations, which is actually, from what I've heard, a very good game. That is $1 right now, which is pretty great because that's the only Sonic the Hedgehog game that I have not played in the franchise. I've played every single other one, except for that. And so I'm excited to, actually sit down and play it. I know the daytime segments from Unleashed are a heavy influence on the modern Sonic stages, which is great because I loved those. I also picked up Warhammer Vermintide 2 because that's a game that I played at PAX with Ethan and Jake. That was like super, super fun. The best way to put it is just it's Left 4 Dead, but in the Warhammer universe, where you're fighting like a plague of rat men instead of like zombies, and it's fun. It's very fun. I enjoy playing the archer. Didn't you play the dwarf? I think.
Yep.
Yeah. How was the dwarf in that game, if you remember? Because I want him.
The dwarf is pretty good. You can just kind of run in there swinging at him and win. Speaking of dwarves, I sent you some images.
Yeah. Speaking of dwarves, yeah, I'm pulling them up now.
He's so full of cheer.
Yeah. I like the five swords on his back represent all the things that he cares about, which is his mom,
Swords.
his dad, swords.
Yeah.
Let's download that image and throw that right into the stream right here. Go, Tub Time is going to be the name of that. Go on to my desktop. Get up, there we go. There it is. That's the scene from the Tub Time. Tub Time.
Mm-hmm.
Good game. I've been enjoying The Witcher. I've gotten a lot better when it comes to the crafting system. Because when I played initially, I thought I could just brute force my way through the game without going into it. And that is... no.
I'm insulted. You would think of doing that.
Because, okay, I'll put it this way. There are other, like, RPG open world type games that I've played where like, the crafting system is 100% optional. Like, all the gear that you find on the way and the gear that you find in the shops will, like, easily get you through the adventure. And, like, crafting is usually an afterthought.
You said what's wrong with that statement in that statement. Other RPGs.
Well, yeah, but again, I'm so conditioned to like the way that those work that I was like, okay, I could probably just play The Witcher with only getting the gear that I pick up from enemies and going to the stores for stuff.
You better be making that Griffin gear.
That's
gonna take you far, dude.
I will be making the Griffin gear because like all of the oils and potions and everything has been helping immensely, and I'm like questioning what I did for the first 15 hours of my gameplay.
Dude, you're gonna love it.
I am already enjoying it a lot. Like, also I've gotten a better handle of the combat because it's going to sound weird, but I'm comparing the combat like in the game to Punch-Out, where it's like there's a rhythm to all of the fights. There's like certain beats that you need to follow the certain tells and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was very confused about that. Also, this is going to be another stupid thing. Is when you unsheath your sword, you can choose to unsheath the like main one that you have or the silver one.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it mattered which one I picked, so I would always just randomly unsheath one of them.
Well, well, okay.
Again, remember, this is my first time ever touching this game. I don't know a whole lot. I played the second game for like 5 minutes and then got confused.
Why does he have two swords? Double dick kill.
He's not dual wielding, so it confuses me.
Why does he have two swords? Cause it's a back.
Yeah. That's okay. This is a legitimate question, because you can't dual wield in this game, correct?
No.
Okay, because like I don't know why, but I was like, maybe it's like Shadow of Mordor, where like you get that kind of like fight perk option.
No.
But yeah, I it's just me trying to get used to the game.
Steel is for beasts, and silver is for monsters. Although technically, both are for monsters.
Okay. But anyways, some other games that I've picked up. I've actually ended up picking up the Borderlands collection for Switch because I genuinely wanted to see how 2K would port those games, because based on how they port those games would like determine whether or not like, you know, Borderlands 3 on the Switch is possible. Which I mean, if Outer Worlds is able to run on a Switch, well, albeit with like, you know, very crippled textures and everything, like it would still be fun, then I feel like Borderlands 3 has a chance. And I am very impressed by the port that was done. It's incredibly smooth. There's little to no like actual frame drops from what I've experienced. All the animations are super smooth. Everything's working perfectly fine. Because I played, I'm redoing the campaign in pre-sequel right now because I'm trying out the DLC characters to see how they play, and the Doppelganger is probably my new favorite from that game to play because he's just broken. But everything just works so well, and I'm kind of blown away by that because like the Switch is not a powerful piece of hardware at all. Like it's really like the equivalent of a beefed up Android like phone. And even with that, it's like running the game super smoothly. I heard the BioShock port was also very good, but people complained that they didn't have the option to add gyroscopic control for like aiming, where that would be for like fine tuning. But I've never played with any of that with like any console shooters or anything like that because I don't think that was too prevalent except for Splatoon. But no, it's great. It's very fun. And
You know what else is great? Stranger Things 3, the game, is free on Epic Games, along with Air, Memories of Old.
Stranger Things 3, that game is I've seen and heard good things about it. A lot of people compared it to the way that not really the way that the old Fallout games the way that the Fallout games would handle like combat in like when it was isometric, like top down. A lot of people compared it to that. It's very different aside from that, because I mean it does follow the third season of the show. But it looks fun. I remember seeing it at the Game Awards when I was watching one of their streams, and yeah. Ooh, speaking of Game Awards, have you seen all the stuff that Jeff Keighley's been doing recently?
No.
Well, he's like spearheading this thing called the Summer Games Fest, where throughout the summer, he's just getting developers on, and like they're talking about games that are in development as well as like debuting trailers and everything like that. And what's really cool is the true sequel to Crash Bandicoot 3 was officially announced, and the game actually looks really good. It's called Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. The game like directly picks up after the third one, where you sent like the bad guy Neo Cortex into the past, and it's about him like using that to his advantage to like build up technology so he could better like defend against Crash. There's this new mechanic with like different suits where you can like change gravity and stuff. I'm a little concerned of how they would implement that, but just from what I've seen, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Personally, what I'm looking forward to right now is Cyberpunk 2077.
That new trailer was incredible.
Which is the most anticipated game of the summer 2021. Because it's probably gonna get delayed again.
At
the level it's going at.
I don't know. I feel like they would be hard pressed to delay it again because like there's so much hype that's like built on it right now that it, and like not to say that there wasn't hype before, but like
I wouldn't be saying that if it weren't for the fact that before they pushed it back again, they literally said, "Okay, guys, we're gonna get it out when we say it's gonna come out. We're not gonna delay it anymore. Coronavirus isn't gonna get in the way. This is when it's releasing." And then they're like, "Hey, we're gonna push it back again."
They went, "Hey, oops." Yeah, they just sent an email that said, "Uh-oh."
However, it does look really good. And as for games that will actually come out eventually, do you remember? They showed stuff for the new Ratchet and Clank game.
Yeah.
With the PS5.
Yeah, Rift Apart.
Yeah.
That looks good. I think that looks like a lot of fun. I heard people kind of having mixed feelings about like the grapple mechanic where it's like pulling dimensions towards you, but I think that's neat.
It looks weird, but I kind of like the flow of it too.
Yeah. My thing is I want to see, because like the whole thing that's built around this game is it's flexing the ability of PS5 to have seamless like loading, like to have like all of these different areas loaded all at once so that you could jump through a portal, you're in this area with all these characters now, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
My thing is I want to see just how smooth it is, because obviously with like a trailer you can like iron that out. Like to me,
like it was all in the stream, which like for a lot of people kind of looked very janky just because of like whenever a stream gets exciting, the internet doesn't know how to handle it.
Yeah. I'm also excited for the Spider-Man Miles Morales game, because the way that game is created, it's kind of in the same vein as like Silk Song for Hollow Knight, where originally it was just DLC for the main game, but they started building on it like more and more and more until it became its own thing.
Mm-hmm. And
I hope, like, people are calling it like I think Insomniac is saying that it's it's like a sort of like smaller spin-off title with like Miles. I think it's just going to set up things for the Spider-Man 2 game that will inevitably come out because of just how big of a success the first one was. You know, establishing villains for it and like making Miles like I wouldn't be surprised if in the next Spider-Man game that Miles is also the protagonist. Or if not, you switch between like Peter and Miles, because I think that would make a lot of sense, especially because they're trying to like, from the way that it sounds that like Peter is pushing Miles to like train and get better and to go after these like greater evils.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. You know how weird it is to like be at a point where we're talking about next gen and we know what most of the next gen looks like. Like,
Do you mean because we're epic gamers on PC who know how games should be played?
no, not that. It's more like, oh my gosh, it's more just the fact that that like the era of PS4 and like Xbox One, like it felt like it was a very long, I think, run for the console, right? Because it came out, I want to say 2010, 11, or was that I might be confusing things.
Wait, what?
Okay. PlayStation 4 release date. It came out in 2013. That was like, I think that's the same year as the 3DS. Like, it's the console's been around for 7 years, which is very good for a console life cycle, you know? And just showing like how like not only did the power of like what the console could offer allow it to last for as long as it did, but developers got even better with coding and creating things for it, which you can really see through like Last of Us Part 2 versus like Knack 2. That was like one of the launch titles. That's also okay, this is a completely different jump, but one thing that I actually really enjoy doing is if I have like a specific console, like I like to look back and see what the launch titles of it were, because like when you play the launch titles, there's that extra bit of like kind of jankiness to the way the game plays, because it's the developers trying to figure out like how it should even feel and like operate. Like the 3DS launch titles were kind of ass, but like all of them were like very, very intent on like trying to sell the gimmick of 3D rather than being like, full game experiences, which you got later with like titles like Kid Icarus Uprising, the Resident Evil Revelations games, all that. But yeah, because I'm like tempted to try to find like a couple launch titles for the handhelds that I own, just to like try them out and go back. Mainly looking at eBay lots though, because I really don't want to spend like $30 on a minigame compilation or whatever.
I completely forgot I have Grand Theft Auto 5 now.
I honestly forgot that I had it too. Like I remember picking it up because of like the whole like free on Epic thing.
Yeah.
I just I don't know.
How many good games are on Epic too? I also forgot about that.
Yeah, no, that's the nice thing. The only nice thing that I've enjoyed from Epic so far has been the fact that they have nearly doubled my game library. Like just with like the free titles that I have gotten throughout the time that I've had like their launcher on my computer.
Like I still need to play Abzu, Alan Wake, Ape Out.
Ooh, play Alan Wake. Play Alan Wake. It's so good. It's one of the few horror games that I love.
Darksiders 1 and 2.
Good games, fantastic games.
Light.
Wait, have you never played a Darksider game?
No.
I thought that those would be up your alley.
Keep going. Inside, Into the Breach, Just Cause 4, Last Day of June, Layers of Fear, Metro 2033, Moonlighter, Nuclear Throne, Overcooked, Oxenfree, Cube 2, Rebel Galaxy, Rhyme, Civilization 6. Isn't that one like kind of alright?
Everyone says that 5 is the peak and 6 is ass.
Steep, the falling simulator.
Steep looks like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to eventually having a computer that can run it.
Surviving Mars, The End of Night.
Surviving Mars is a fantastic game. Have you heard of that game?
No.
Ooh.
World of Goo. World War Z, and Yooka-Laylee in the Impossible Lair.
Yooka-Laylee Impossible Lair is fantastic. It's a platformer that's very much reminiscent of Donkey Kong Country, which I mean I enjoy a lot. But Surviving Mars is great. It's I believe it's by the original guy that made SimCity, and you're just building a civilization on Mars. The best part of the game though is the soundtrack. The soundtrack is fantastic. I listen to the albums like in my spare time when I'm just working on things.
So the Slime Rancher is pretty cool.
Slime Rancher's fun.
And Stories Untold, and Enter the Dungeon.
Stories.
And
Okay.
And Totally Accurate Battle Simulator and Farming Simulator.
Yeah.
There's a lot of games. Kingdom Come Deliverance, The Witness. I'm done now.
Witness is great. I do really enjoy what was it? Stories Untold. It's a fantastic narrative experience.
Yep.
Also, whoa, wait, what? Okay, they're making Conan Exiles free on the 2nd.
Whoa.
Which that's a big game.
Yes.
And
a free Twitch unfriendly game.
Oh, yo, Hue is a really good game too. I've played it before. It's very fun. Let's see what's in my library because I don't think I've been as like on top of getting all the free games as you have been.
I have Hue on Twitch.
I do as well.
Along with a lot of other games on Twitch.
Yeah. That's I mean that's the thing is that like I'm happy that with Prime with Twitch there's like a bigger incentive than just like, ad free. You don't got to worry about like, like you get like 1 month for a free sub or whatever.
Like I have some good games on Twitch. Like I got Observer through Twitch. I have Brutal Legend. I have
Brutal Legend's fun.
Manual Samuel.
I got so close to beating that game, but like that final stage absolutely pissed me off.
Gunpoint, that's like a surprising gem I had never heard of, and just kind of picked it at chance.
I really liked Gunpoint. It's a solid like puzzle / shooter type affair.
Serial Cleaner and Soma.
Soma is probably my favorite horror game.
I actually played one of my Twitch games recently.
Ooh, what game?
Tacoma.
How was Tacoma?
It is really good, actually.
Because I've been wanting to try it out, but I'm also like...
Do you want to hear my pitch as to why you should play it?
Yes, and while you're explaining that pitch, I want to quickly pull up the...
Oh, it's a very quick pitch. Hence, it's a pitch.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the Steam page just so I can show the audience what the game looks like.
Thing about because it has, in my opinion, very, very beautiful world building and a very amazing way of telling the story that's being told in the game.
I remember this game being shown off on a conference, and I forget which one. Oh, it's by the people who made Gone Home.
Yep.
Ooh.
So, the reason why I love the storytelling so much is because the premise of the game is, without like giving anything away, you are kind of like a journalist, almost like an investigative journalist. You're like working with like this company or whatever, and you are sent out to a space station to figure out what happened there. And more specifically, you are trying to gather the AI that's used to run that space station. But along the way, before you like enter the space station, you put on these like AR like accessory things that allow you to like see augmented reality like in the space station the way
Mm.
that the people working on the space station would see it.
Mm.
And what happened is the space station was like recording everything that the workers were doing. And
Mm-hmm.
so in different areas of the space station, you can relive what they did at certain moments on the space station. And not only does that mean you can like look and see like what they were doing to piece the story together, but they do this really interesting thing where at like certain points they will all be like grouped together in like a group conversation or something at like a meeting, and then they'll all go their separate ways, and you can learn so much by following each individual person doing their own thing. And sometimes like two will go off at once or three will go off at once, and you can like wait a minute.
Also, I will say, oddly enough, the video for Tacoma to show the gameplay was not showing up on stream, so I just realized they just had a blank Steam page on for a bit. So my apologies, audience.
I had to check something because for some reason there was just like a network error, and I'm like, wait, did the stream go down?
Mm.
But yeah, you can like follow individual people as their.
Oh, the
like,
encoder's on
living-
fire. All right, we gotta close some things.
Oh,
No, it's the reason that the video wasn't showing up was because the encoder was like doing overtime with the me trying to play the video. Now we are dropping a lot of frames. Oh no. Okay. No, they continue. We'll be fine.
so like as people walk away from like these meetings, you can follow them individually and like see what their take on things are and what their point of view is, and it like builds up on the relationships between people. You can like figure out like why people are there and what they're doing there and like what their purpose is there, and you like learn more about the world through that. You learn like why they were sent there in the first place, and like everything like that. And with the mechanic of the game, you can like rewind those moments and follow like other paths to like get a whole picture. You can see how they like overlap with each other. And what's even better about that is the AI that runs the space station.
Mm-hmm.
Like your whole purpose is to go and gather it, and it becomes a very clear presence early on. And you realize that while you kind of had to like replay those moments time and time again to get the full picture, you realize that the AI was able to see that all at once. As sometimes people will like go off on their own and talk to the AI to figure out their problems, and you can like see how the AI develops throughout the game to become what it is that you're gathering at the end of the game. And I don't want to give anything away in terms of like the actual story or what happened or who anyone is, but it is such an amazing game. Not to mention the fact that the setting itself is beautiful, because on one hand, pretty much everything is interactable with like in the game. Like you'll find yourself in like a lounge where there's not only a dartboard that you can open up, pick out the darts, and throw at the dartboard, but there's even a pool table where you can put all of the balls into the triangle, remove the triangle, pick up one of the pool cues, and hit and like play a game of pool if you want, just completely in the game.
Oh, that's pretty neat. Like I always enjoyed when like games had those small details where you can play a game inside of it.
And then there's like other things you can find, like so many things are interactable, and like there are a ton of like magazines in the game. They're completely unique from each other, and books, they're completely unique from each other, and like little accessories and trinkets, they're like very specific to whoever owns them. And there's just like so many things to look at and discover that it makes you like want to explore the world and see what exactly is happening.
That's one thing that Gone Home did as well, where it's like a lot of interactive objects. So I'm happy that that was carried over.
And with like the actual world that it's set in, what's great about it is how like it takes place in like around like I think it's 2088. That's around when it takes place, like very futuristic.
That's what the Steam description said. Yeah.
Vision of reality, and there's so many new companies, so many new brands, so many new like ideas for like currency, for example, so many new like advancements in technology and AI and so many new like things, and the game shows you all of it, but it doesn't explain any of it. So it makes it feel real, because it's not like, oh, I'm from Amazon University, the university created by this building. Like, it doesn't go into like the whole backstory of everything. It goes into it assuming you know what it is, because that's how it would actually be if you were to go there.
Yeah, so would you say it's comparable to Obra Dinn? If you ever played that game?
I have not.
So, Obra Dinn, the way that it works is you go onto a ship. Oh, whoa, okay, well, first things first. Hello, Turtle. Very nice to see you. And, yikes. I am unsure.
Yep.
I am unsure of what's up with that. If there's a setting that I messed with, sorry. There's a chance that it might be a problem on my end. But the way that Obra Dinn works is... So you go to investigate, like, so there's a ship that went missing that now just has appeared, and everybody on the ship is dead, like skeletons and whatnot. And you have this pocket watch that will bring you back to like the time where like certain people met their demise, and you're basically in charge of writing the play-by-play of what happened, like figuring out who is who with context clues, seeing what happened to the ship itself, like what the mutiny was like and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, very interesting story, and I highly recommend it for anybody who's interested in a very cool narrative experience. And yeah, Jake, get him. Go for the throat. No, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, didn't go right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the little heart.
Going right throat.
Yeah, right to the throat. I don't. Well, to be honest, though, I mean, last night's stream went pretty okay, but also maybe the stream is like freaking out because it's like, wait, you're not doing the thing with the cameras anymore? What?
But yeah, if you play Tacoma, like, you will find so many things and hear about so many things that you will have no idea what they are. And I honestly kind of love it, because like, why would they explain it?
Yeah.
Like why would they explain what, like, you know, loyalty points are, for example? Or like, why would they why would a magazine cover that you can look at that's like unique to a specific room, like why would it tell you what it's about when it's specifically the like the cover of a magazine? It's supposed to be the headline telling you like the big thing without actually going into it. And so like, it would actually require like a lot of like looking into to try and piece everything together.
Yeah, where all the details matter. That this is very reminiscent of Obra Dinn.
Yep.
Big fan of those types of games. And Turtle, we're not upset. We're just this is just making a joke. He's a joke.
Speak for yourself, Corey.
They got pranked. Yeah, Jake.
Yeah.
Turtle's been nothing but nice to you. No, you got a sub to her channel, and now you're just like, the claws gonna come out.
Yeah. I just saw on the stream my comment that we can't all be professional.
Wait, you just did now?
I just saw that, yeah.
Oh my goodness, how far back are you?
I don't know.
You could do like a refresh the auto
I
thing.
did.
I did that, and I'm at the point where she sent all the Isabel sunglass ones. Wow, I don't know what's wrong with the stream. We're gonna need to figure out what's going on with that for next time.
Anyway, if you want a good streaming game, Tacoma is one of them if you have it.
I do have Tacoma. I also want to stream Jazz Punk. I think that would be a fun stream. I don't know too much about the game. I've heard it's very heavily like based off of kind of like the Monty Python dry sense of humor, which I love that. I played a little bit of the first level just to like see how it would run with OBS, and it kind of chugs on OBS, so we'll see what I can do. My goal though is to get a capture card that I can use for my Switch, because that's less intensive than anything I can do on my computer.
Yeah.
Because if I do that, I could stream The Witcher. 2, Gungeon, Mario plus
Stream
Rabbids.
The Witcher Naked Backseat game.
Yeah, and you'll just be like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "What?" And it's like, "What are you doing?" And it's like, "I'm trying to attack him," and you're like,
Get to, like,
J-
the quick time moments, and I'll be like, put the baby in the oven.
yeah. I love like those like the idea of me just playing and I'm like going to fight and you're like, wrong sword. Like just so monotone. Can't believe I got pranked. Yeah, take that. That's what happens.
You got pranked. Dude, remember the prank video?
I feel like I feel like we brought that up once before, right?
I don't know, did we?
I want to say it was during the episode where we were doing the reactions to our high school vids? At least like a handful of them.
I know we didn't react to it.
Yeah, no, but I think we mentioned it because I think we made the joke where it was like, there's a camera over there, like that whole thing. Man.
I don't know.
Paris was so good in that video. He did such a great job.
Pixel Venture Podcast is over party.
I love, wow, last stream, Turtle already tried to cancel me because when she put in the chat that she choked on rice, I clapped.
Choking on rice.
Yeah.
Turtle.
It was rice and turkey burger. It was like a combination of the two.
Forgive me.
Yeah, forgive me. I take back everything I said.
Dude,
Man.
you know it's a great show? That
What
I
show?
somehow got reminded of. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
I didn't actually jump on the wagon to watch that.
I've
Unfortunately.
just recently started watching it. And by recently, I mean a while ago.
I heard a lot of people compare it to New Girl, with like that same kind of comedy.
If you want an idea for the comedy, the executive producer of the show is Tina Fey.
Okay, yeah, I mean I can get behind that.
You know, pretty much right there, you know if it's gonna be something you like or not.
I mean I like Tina Fey.
It's got very like random comedy, but it's like comedy that usually ends up making sense for as random as it is.
So our comedy.
Like the thing that reminded me of it was when you told me about Turtle choking, and in like a recent episode I saw, there was like this interaction between two characters. One of them is like, do you pray to God? And the other one's like, yes, about once a day when I choke. It's like once a day when I choke on my spit.
I think I like this. I think I like this show. This sounds funny.
There's like another where a character was going in for like voice recordings, and the person was like inviting them to the studio. And he's like, "Oh, can I get you anything? Can I get you something like water?" And he's like, "Yes, 2 sugars, please."
Yeah. That's
Like, it's that kind of like it's random, but like it's perfectly random.
Dude, that's what movie was like that? There's a movie that I absolutely love when it comes to like just dumb humor and yeah, celebrated. Yeah, when you did choke. But man,
Oh,
Turtle's a fan. But
it is. Joe.
I that reminds me of there's a movie that I love just for dumb comedy and prop comedy type stuff. Have you ever heard of Top Secret? It's
I don't know.
so the film is about like I forget. It has to do with like warheads and like you know world domination and stuff. But in order to cover that up, they're like this evil corporation's having like the World's Fair where they invite like a bunch of like you know celebrities in universe to like go and perform and everything. And the main character that you follow is like this rock star kind of guy who gets caught up in this like whole plan because he gets caught up in the middle of like a freedom fight type thing where it's like a gunfight and then accidentally joins the resistance, and the entire time like the bad guys are trying to get him back so that he can perform for them. And there's literally these lines where it's like they go up to like this farm and they're like, is this a potato farm? And he says, yes, I'm Alfred Potato. And like that kills me just because it's such plain delivery. Or my absolute favorite part of that movie is the main guy, he's sitting in like you know a train cart, and outside of his window there's like this what looks like a train station filled with all the Nazi like guys that are trying to like you know catch him. But after a moment you realize that that little station is fake and that was on a train cart and that that's moving and his train's completely still. And the first time I saw that, I cackled. It was fantastic. Highly recommend that movie.
There is so much going on in this trailer.
For what? Top Secret?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I think it's unfortunately it's the same directors as Epic movie I think, where they tried to like take that same randomness but they were like, "Oh, let's just go all in on pop culture." Which sucks cuz like this type of like comedy was like I think their peak. Because it was like one thing that I loved was and this is something that I think you can appreciate, just the technical like ability and also just the way that the actors would be is
They put boots on a cow.
what
They put boots on a cow.
yeah, that's pretty good. But
Literally just a cow walking by with some rubber booties.
yeah, that's their ultimate disguise.
Yeah.
But the thing that I loved in the film is that anytime a character is supposed to be speaking in a language that the main character does not understand, they're speaking backwards. But what like once I picked up on that, what I realized is that the entirety of the scenes where they're talking and it's a different like the quote unquote different language, the entire thing is filmed backwards. Like a character going up to like, you know, retrieve a book, come back down and walk off with the other characters to like explain a thing, that was all filmed in reverse. Which when you watch the film there are some minor moments where you're like, yeah, I can kind of see that, but most of the time it's done very smoothly. And I am very, very impressed by the film every time I watch it, just for like the little details. But yeah, no, that's my random movie recommendation of the day. Also, speaking of movies, there's this other place, other movie that I watched recently. I forget the name of it, but Turtle was there when we watched it, and it's supposed to be like one of those. The movie, I know for a fact it was trying to have like a deep message about mental health and everything, but it was such like. It was the raw definition of a teen movie. Which I mean, I guess I kind of should have expected, given like the way that the movie was filmed, because it was like he's the weird outcast quirky guy, she's the uptight like play by the rules girl, and like she lost her sister, he lost his dad, and like you know trauma bond or whatever, and they have sex in a train yard. But like it's just the reason that I enjoyed the film as much as I did is that it's supposed to be like like a sad comedy, or like a sad kind of like teen movie, kind of like Bridge to Terabithia. Although I will say Bridge to Terabithia is a fantastic film compared to this film, though. Like I mean, it's. I don't know. The movie was not fun for me. What was fun was making all the jokes about how this guy is incredibly thirsty for this girl, and I think there was one thing where I was like, hey, it's cool that we're talking about trauma and stuff. Haha. Do you want to hold hands or something like that? And it's like, it's called like something Brighter Place. Like I know it's a Netflix film.
Then I do not know what it is.
I'm trying to remember. Okay, let me see if I can find the name of it. I'm pretty sure.
You remember Free Guy?
Free Guy? Yeah, I remember that.
The Ryan Reynolds movie that kind of relates. Just kind of died out of nowhere.
Wait, what did?
Free Guy?
Free Guy? I mean, didn't it come out? I thought it came out.
I don't even know.
I remember it being very very heavily advertised leading up to it, because people were like, it's going to be a good video game movie, like that kind of thing.
December 11th, 2020.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess it does make sense that it would be pushed, right?
Maybe.
But okay, the film is called All the Bright Places. The one that I'm like unsure if I enjoyed or thought it was funny. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, thank you, Turtle. But
why would I watch that movie? I could watch Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds, Jacksepticeye, Joe Keery from Stranger Things.
I thought you were going to say Joe Rogan. Like, imagine.
Taika Waititi as Antoine.
Yeah, he's the bad guy.
And Jodie Comer.
That movie is either going to suck or suck in a great way. Is the best way I can put it.
How you put it.
Well, because
I would say it's either gonna suck or it's going to be like the Detective Pikachu movie and actually be like a good movie.
No, I think it's going to either be like garbage, or I think it's going to be that campy kind of thing that people can go back to and appreciate. Because it's like,
so if I were to translate what you just said, it's
like
going to be a bad movie or it's going to be a particularly bad movie.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, that's how I feel. It's like
I like that.
I feel like it's going to be strictly middle of the road, and there's no way that it could veer away from that because of the stigma of video game movie.
I like to think it's going to be good because Ryan Reynolds is a producer for it, and I like to think that
he's a great actor.
Passion project is he's
fantastic work.
Knowing Ryan Reynolds, he's like, this has to be some kind of like passion project for him on some level. I don't want this to be bad.
Well, that's the thing, is that I really don't want it to be bad, but also like I'm bracing for the worst. Just because I've been burned so many times. The Assassin's Creed movie.
To be fair, I don't think anyone thought that was going to be good.
It would be so easy to make it a good movie, though.
But it wasn't, and that was clear from the trailer.
I know, and it hurt. It really hurt. Remember when they were like, "Oh, we're going to show some like, exclusive footage and like some crazy stuff," but it was like, it was the equivalent of like a Corridor Digital video on steroids.
And that's kind of an insult to Corridor Digital.
Yeah, that's an insult to dubstep guns. And shock warfare.
Let's see, but it
Have
Would
those?
be like the Warcraft movie.
I genuinely enjoyed the Warcraft movie. I know a lot of people I know in the US it didn't perform really well, but I heard that like overseas it did pretty good numbers, right?
Like, what if it's actually good? What if the movie's actually good?
I don't know. I've been burned so many times of me like being like hyped for movies and then having them turn out to be complete like piles of garbage. Like
That was the fire.
I'm going into the new Bill and Ted movie with the most skepticism.
I mean, that's fair.
Like I love Keanu Reeves, don't get me wrong. I think the Bill and Ted movies like the original are great, but it's also like the whole thing is about them like having to write a song that unites the world, otherwise the apocalypse occurs, which I mean, I guess that's not as crazy as like the other plots that they've had, but the idea that like in the future if they don't prevent it, they're like these huge buff like prison inmates or whatever. Like I don't know, it just looks weird to me.
You do realize it's a Bill and Ted movie, right?
I know. Well, and even then like even for a Bill and Ted movie, it's just like there's some kind of uneasiness that I have going into it.
I don't know. Well, we have hit the hour mark.
Well, yeah, but we're having a good discussion. We can keep it going. Or are you really tired of me?
I've
You're-
got things to do today.
Right, you have D&D in like an hour, don't you?
Yeah, and cut a hole in my wall to fix the shower next door.
Yeah. I can't wait for you to be in that D&D call for 12 hours straight again.
It's actually only going to be 2 hours because the DM has a paper to write.
Because he...
So I take one instance of a 12-hour session and assume that every session is like that.
I'm
But
going
you're
to...
specifically going through a dungeon.
I want to be honest though, like with the way that Ethan approaches like D&D, I wouldn't be surprised if he was that intense like every single time.
I'm gonna tell him you said that, and he's gonna think you're a meanie.
He's going to say, "Roll to see if you're my friend."
Roll to see how much I kill you.
Yeah, roll to see if you're my friend with disadvantage. But yeah, I mean, hey, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Pixel Venture Podcast. This was a nice episode.